Morocco and Algeria. The following is a brief chronology of the most prominent stations in the relations between the two countries. 1516, Algeria became an Ottoman province, and a conflict broke out between the Ottoman Turks and the Saadian state in Morocco. 1830, Algeria was subjected to French occupation, which began to interfere in the affairs of Morocco with the help of Prince Abdelkader, and in 1844 the Battle of Isly took place, in which the Moroccan forces were defeated, and the French intervention continued until the French protectorate was imposed on Morocco in 1912. 1884, the beginning of the Spanish colonization of the Western Moroccan Sahara. 1934, Western Moroccan Sahara becomes a Spanish territory, bearing the name Spanish Sahara. November 1956, Morocco gains partial independence for the center from France and north from Spain. 1957, newly independent Morocco asserts its right to the Western Moroccan Sahara, which is part of its historical lands that were expropriated by colonialism. July 1962, Algeria gains its independence. 1963, a border dispute broke out between the two countries over the regions of Tindouf and Béchar, which were seized by France in favor of Algeria, which led to the outbreak of military confrontations between them, known as the Sand War. 1965, the United Nations calls on Spain to end its occupation of the Western Moroccan Sahara. 1973, the Polisario Front is established. October 1974, Morocco refers the Western Moroccan Sahara file to the International Court of Justice, which expresses an advisory opinion supporting the existence of historic ties of allegiance between the Sahara tribes and the kingdom. November 1975, the King Hassan II organizes what was known as the Green March, in which he called on 350,000 Moroccans only with the Quran and flags to go to the Western Moroccan Sahara, and Spain's withdrawal from the region, to break out a guerrilla war between the Polisario Front and the Moroccan forces that lasted 16 years. December 1975, Algeria expels thousands of Moroccans residing there towards the border in a disgraceful and despicable act on the night of Eid al-Adha, a month after the organization of the Green March, as a response to the Green March. An act that no one dares to do except the despicable. March 1976, the severance of relations between Morocco and Algeria, against the background of the latter's support for the Polisario Front. November 1984, Morocco withdraws from African Unity, against the organization's acceptance of the Polisarios. May 1988, the return of relations between Morocco and Algeria. February 1989, the establishment of the Arab Maghreb Union in the Moroccan city of Marrakesh, consisting of 5 countries, Libya, Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco and Mauritania, through the signing of what was called the Treaty Establishing the Arab Maghreb Union. April 1991, the issuance of Security Council Resolution No. 690, establishing the United Nations mission in Western Moroccan Sahara, MINURSO, to monitor the ceasefire between Morocco and the Polisario. September 1991, declaration of a ceasefire in the desert. 1994, the imposition of visas on Algerians by Morocco was matched by the closure of the borders by Algeria in the wake of the bombings of the Atlas Asni Hotel and the involvement of Algerians in the terrorist act, to enter the relations again into a dark tunnel. September 1999, the failure of rapprochement between the two countries, after Algeria accused Morocco of harboring Algerian armed opposition groups. July 2001, the United Nations announced a draft framework agreement for autonomy in the Sahara as an alternative to a referendum, which was met with strong Algerian opposition. March 2003, a memorandum from Morocco to the United Nations, in which he affirmed that he had decided his position according to a compromise political solution, based mainly on autonomy within the framework of Moroccan sovereignty. May 2004, a letter from Algerian President Abdelaziz Bouteflika to Mohamed Abdelaziz, leader of the Polisario, expressing his country's support for the Polisario Front. September 2004, an explanatory note from Morocco to the United Nations, explaining Algeria's responsibility in the conflict. February 2006, letter from Algeria to UN, in which he indicated that the matter was related to a conflict between Morocco and the Sahrawi people. April 2007, Morocco sends a letter to the Secretary-General of the United Nations about the violations of human rights taking place in the Tindouf camps, and Algeria's responsibility regarding the violations committed on its territory. April 2008, the personal envoy of the Secretary-General of the United Nations in charge of the Sahara File, Peter van Walsum, declares before the Security Council that the independence of Western Moroccan Sahara is not a realistic option. October 2020, Sahrawi activists close the only border crossing that Morocco opened in 2002 to West Africa. November 2020, Morocco liberates the Guerguerat border crossing, and the Polisario Front announces the end of ceasefire. July 2021, Morocco's permanent representative to UN calls for the right to self-determination for the inhabitants of the Kabylie region in Algeria as a nation's people who have lived in this region for thousands of years, and as a response to the sheltering of the Polisario mercenaries on its lands in Tindouf and their support with money and weapons, approximately half a century. August 2021, Algeria cuts its relations with Morocco. Algeria justifies this step with a number of reasons for which it did not provide evidence. Like Morocco using the Pegasus program to spy on it, and his involvement in burning her forests, and his support for movements such as Almak and Rashad. The last decision in October 2021, Algeria announced that it would not renew the contract for exploitation of the gas pipeline that supplies Spain with Algerian gas, passing through Morocco.